Blueberries are one of the healthiest fruits on the planet. But what if combining them with the wrong foods cancels their benefits? Or worse, for seniors, digestion and absorption work very differently. Some common food pairings can trigger unwanted reactions in the body. Today, you'll learn which combinations to avoid and why it matters. Blueberries are often described as one of the most powerful fruits for aging bodies, but what makes them beneficial also makes them sensitive to how they are consumed. Their strength comes from a high concentration of bioactive compounds, especially anthocyanins and polyphenols. These compounds act as signaling molecules in the body, helping reduce oxidative stress, protect brain cells, support blood vessels, and regulate inflammation. However, because these compounds are highly active, they are also easily influenced by digestion, food combinations, and metabolic conditions. Unlike simple vitamins that are absorbed passively, the antioxidants in blueberries interact dynamically with proteins, minerals, enzymes, and gut bacteria. Once consumed, they must survive stomach acid, be processed by digestive enzymes, and then pass through the intestinal lining before reaching the bloodstream. Any disruption along this pathway can alter how these compounds behave. In younger individuals with strong digestion, this process is relatively efficient. In seniors, however, the system becomes more fragile. As we age, stomach acid levels tend to decrease. This change affects how polyphenols are released from food and how well they remain stable during digestion. Lower acid levels can slow the breakdown of food, allowing blueberry compounds to interact with other foods for longer periods. This increases the chance that beneficial antioxidants bind to proteins or minerals in ways that prevent proper absorption. Blueberries are also sensitive because their antioxidants are designed to neutralize free radicals. When they encounter excess metals, sugar, or certain proteins, they may react prematurely. Instead of protecting cells, they may lose their activity or, in some cases, contribute to oxidative reactions. This does not mean blueberries are dangerous, but it does mean their effectiveness depends heavily on context. Another reason blueberries are sensitive foods is their interaction with gut bacteria. The gut microbiome plays a major role in converting polyphenols into usable metabolites. In seniors, gut diversity often declines due to medications, low fiber intake, or chronic inflammation. This can change how blueberry compounds are processed, sometimes leading to bloating, discomfort, or reduced benefit when combined with incompatible foods. Portion size also matters. Blueberries are low in sugar compared to many fruits, but they are not sugar-free. Large servings, especially when digestion is slow, can overwhelm the system. When combined with other foods that delay gastric emptying or spike blood sugar, blueberries can contribute to metabolic stress rather than balance. Finally, blueberries influence liver enzymes involved in detoxification. This is one of the reasons they are so protective, but it also means they can interact with medications or supplements more strongly in older adults. When combined with certain foods or compounds, this enzyme activity may shift in unintended ways. In essence, blueberries are powerful because they actively communicate with the body at a cellular level. That same power makes them sensitive to timing, quantity, and combinations. For seniors, understanding this sensitivity is essential. When blueberries are eaten in a way that respects digestion and metabolism, they function as a true therapeutic food. When combined carelessly, their benefits can be reduced or altered, highlighting the importance of informed food choices rather than simply labeling foods as healthy or unhealthy. When foods are combined, they do not simply mix in the stomach. They interact chemically and biologically in ways that can either enhance or reduce their benefits. This is especially true for foods rich in bioactive compounds, such as blueberries. The nutrients in blueberries are highly reactive, and when paired with certain foods, their protective properties can be weakened or altered, leading to reduced effectiveness or unintended stress on the body. Blueberries contain powerful antioxidants that are designed to bind with unstable molecules called free radicals. However, these same antioxidants can also bind to proteins, minerals, and sugars present in other foods. When this happens, the antioxidants may lose their ability to enter the bloodstream and reach the tissues where they are needed most. Instead of circulating to protect the brain, heart, and blood vessels, they remain trapped in the digestive tract and are eventually excreted. One common mechanism behind this neutralization is protein binding. Certain proteins, particularly those found in animal-based foods, can attach to polyphenols and form complexes that the body cannot easily absorb. While this process is harmless in younger individuals with efficient digestion, it becomes more significant in seniors whose digestive enzymes and stomach acid are reduced. The result is a dramatic drop in antioxidant availability. Mineral interactions also play a role. Some foods contain high levels of iron or calcium, which can compete with or bind to blueberry compounds. When this occurs, both the mineral and the antioxidant may be absorbed less efficiently. In some cases, excess iron interacting with polyphenols can increase oxidative reactions instead of reducing them, creating the opposite of the intended protective effect. Sugar is another major factor. Blueberries have a low to moderate glycemic impact on their own, but when consumed with refined carbohydrates or added sugars, the metabolic response changes. Rapid spikes in blood sugar increase oxidative stress and inflammation. In this environment, antioxidants are quickly used up to counteract the damage, leaving fewer available for long-term protection. Over time, this pattern can cancel out the benefits blueberries are known for. Digestive timing also influences these interactions. When blueberries are eaten with heavy, slow-digesting meals, their compounds remain in the stomach and intestines longer, increasing the chance of binding with incompatible nutrients. This prolonged exposure raises the likelihood that beneficial compounds will be altered before absorption occurs. For seniors, these interactions matter more because the margin for error is smaller. Aging bodies process nutrients more slowly, and recovery from oxidative or metabolic stress takes longer. What might be a minor reduction in benefit for a younger person can become a significant loss for an older adult relying on blueberries for cognitive and cardiovascular support. Ultimately, food combinations can either support or sabotage the benefits of nutrient-dense foods. Blueberries do not lose their value because they are unhealthy, but because their powerful compounds are sensitive to their environment. Understanding how certain pairings neutralize or alter these effects allows seniors to make smarter choices, ensuring that blueberries deliver their full protective potential rather than being rendered ineffective by poor combinations. The way blueberries affect the body is closely tied to digestion, absorption, and the behavior of their polyphenols once they enter the digestive system. These compounds are not passive nutrients. They are biologically active molecules that must pass through several complex steps before they can deliver their protective effects. Any disruption in these steps can change how blueberries function in the body, particularly in seniors. Digestion is the first critical stage. Blueberries release their polyphenols as they are broken down in the stomach and small intestine. Adequate stomach acid and digestive enzymes are needed to separate these compounds from the fiber and plant matrix. With aging, stomach acid and enzyme production often decline, slowing digestion. When digestion is delayed, blueberry polyphenols remain longer in contact with other foods, increasing the likelihood of chemical interactions that reduce their effectiveness. Absorption is the next challenge. Polyphenols are absorbed through the intestinal lining, but only a small percentage makes it directly into the bloodstream. The rest depend on gut bacteria to convert them into usable metabolites. In seniors, the gut microbiome is often less diverse due to medications, low fiber intake, or chronic inflammation. This altered microbiome can change how blueberry compounds are processed, sometimes leading to weaker antioxidant effects or digestive discomfort when blueberries are paired with incompatible foods. Polyphenol interactions are particularly important to understand. These compounds have a natural tendency to bind with proteins and minerals. When blueberries are consumed alongside certain foods, polyphenols may attach to these substances before absorption occurs. Once bound, they often become too large to pass through the intestinal wall, meaning their benefits are lost. This does not cause immediate harm, but it significantly reduces the health value seniors expect from blueberries. Another issue involves oxidative balance. Polyphenols act as antioxidants by donating electrons to neutralize free radicals. However, when consumed in an environment of high sugar or excess metals, these compounds may be rapidly used up or altered. In such cases, the body spends the antioxidants correcting metabolic stress instead of providing long-term protection to tissues like the brain and heart. The speed of digestion also influences blood sugar response. Blueberries alone have a relatively gentle effect on blood sugar, but when digestion is slowed or combined with refined carbohydrates, glucose absorption becomes uneven. This can trigger insulin spikes, which increase inflammation and oxidative stress. In this state, polyphenols are diverted away from their protective roles and toward damage control. Medication use adds another layer of complexity. Blueberry polyphenols can influence liver enzymes responsible for breaking down drugs. When absorption patterns change due to food combinations, these interactions may become stronger or weaker than expected. For seniors managing multiple medications, this makes consistency and proper food pairing especially important. Ultimately, digestion and absorption determine whether blueberries act as a healing food or simply pass through the system with limited benefit. Their polyphenols are powerful but sensitive, responding to the digestive environment they encounter. By understanding how digestion, gut health, and food combinations influence these compounds, seniors can ensure blueberries deliver their intended benefits rather than being compromised by poor absorption or unfavorable interactions. As the body ages, its ability to process and respond to foods changes significantly, which is why seniors are more vulnerable to negative food interactions than younger individuals. What once felt like a harmless or even healthy combination can produce very different effects later in life. This increased sensitivity is not a weakness, but a natural result of physiological changes that occur with aging. One of the most important changes is reduced digestive efficiency. Seniors often produce less stomach acid and fewer digestive enzymes. This slows down the breakdown of food and alters how nutrients interact in the digestive tract. When digestion is slower, foods remain in the stomach and intestines longer, increasing the chance that certain compounds will bind together in ways that block absorption or irritate the gut. For foods like blueberries, which contain highly active polyphenols, this prolonged contact raises the risk of unwanted interactions. Liver function also changes with age. The liver plays a central role in detoxification and nutrient metabolism. In seniors, liver enzyme activity may be reduced or altered, especially in those taking medications. Blueberries can influence these enzymes, and when combined with certain foods or drugs, the effects may be amplified. This can lead to unexpected reactions, such as changes in blood sugar control or medication potency, which are more pronounced in older adults. Another major factor is insulin sensitivity. Many seniors experience some degree of insulin resistance, even without a diagnosis of diabetes. This makes blood sugar regulation more fragile. When blueberries are combined with foods that rapidly raise blood sugar, the body may struggle to maintain balance. The resulting glucose spikes increase inflammation and oxidative stress, which can negate the protective effects of blueberries and contribute to fatigue or discomfort. The gut microbiome also becomes less resilient with age. Beneficial bacteria decline, while harmful strains may increase, especially with frequent antibiotic use or low fiber intake. Since blueberry polyphenols rely on gut bacteria to be converted into usable forms, an imbalanced microbiome can change how these compounds behave. In seniors, this may lead to bloating, gas, or reduced antioxidant benefit when blueberries are combined with incompatible foods. Medication use further increases vulnerability. Many seniors take multiple prescriptions daily. Blueberries can affect how certain drugs are absorbed or metabolized. When combined with specific foods, these interactions may become unpredictable. What might be a mild interaction in a younger person can become clinically relevant in an older adult managing blood pressure, blood sugar, or blood-thinning medications. Finally, recovery capacity declines with age. Younger bodies can compensate quickly for metabolic or digestive stress. Seniors recover more slowly, meaning repeated poor food combinations can have cumulative effects over time. This makes consistency and awareness far more important. In summary, seniors are more vulnerable to food interactions because digestion, metabolism, gut health, and recovery all change with age. Understanding these changes empowers older adults to make smarter dietary choices. When food combinations are chosen wisely, nutrient-dense foods like blueberries can provide powerful protection rather than unintended stress, supporting healthier and more stable aging. Understanding the most problematic food pairings with blueberries is essential, especially for seniors, because these combinations can significantly reduce benefits or place unnecessary stress on the body. Blueberries themselves are not harmful, but when combined with certain foods, their powerful compounds can behave in unintended ways due to changes in digestion, metabolism, and nutrient interactions. One of the most common and overlooked pairings is blueberries with dairy products, particularly milk, sweetened yogurt, or ice cream. Dairy proteins have a strong binding effect on blueberry polyphenols. When these proteins attach to antioxidants like anthocyanins, they form complexes that the body struggles to absorb. This means the antioxidants never reach the bloodstream where they are meant to protect the brain, heart, and blood vessels. For seniors who consume blueberries specifically for cognitive and cardiovascular support, this combination can cancel much of the expected benefit. Additionally, dairy can slow digestion, increasing the time these compounds interact in the gut, further reducing absorption. Another problematic combination involves blueberries with high iron foods or iron supplements. Blueberries naturally contain compounds that bind to iron. In moderate amounts, this may slightly reduce iron absorption, but in seniors taking iron supplements or those with iron overload, the interaction can become counterproductive. Excess iron is highly reactive and can increase oxidative stress. When iron interacts with polyphenols in large amounts, it may promote oxidative reactions rather than reduce them. This can place extra strain on the liver and digestive system, especially in older adults with reduced detoxification capacity. The third major concern is pairing blueberries with refined sugars or high glycemic carbohydrates. Examples include pastries, white bread, sweet cereals, flavored syrups, or sugary smoothies. Blueberries on their own have a relatively low impact on blood sugar. However, when combined with refined carbohydrates, they become part of a meal that rapidly spikes glucose levels. For seniors with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or metabolic syndrome, this spike increases inflammation and oxidative stress. In such an environment, the antioxidants from blueberries are quickly used to counteract sugar-induced damage instead of providing long-term protection. These sugar-heavy combinations also disrupt energy levels. Rapid blood sugar rises are often followed by sharp drops, leading to fatigue, brain fog, and cravings. Over time, this pattern works against the very reason seniors include blueberries in their diet, which is to support stable energy and brain health. Portion size amplifies these effects. Large servings of blueberries combined with any of these problematic foods increase the burden on digestion and metabolism. Seniors benefit far more from smaller, well-timed servings consumed in a supportive nutritional context. The key point is that blueberries are not toxic on their own, but their powerful compounds are sensitive to their surroundings. When paired with dairy proteins, excess iron, or refined sugars, their benefits can be blocked, altered, or diverted toward damage control. By avoiding these combinations and choosing more compatible pairings, seniors can ensure blueberries remain a truly protective and therapeutic food rather than one that unintentionally works against their health goals. To gain the full benefits of blueberries, especially as we age, they must be consumed in a way that supports digestion, absorption, and metabolic balance. Blueberries are most effective when treated as a functional food rather than just a sweet fruit. Small adjustments in timing, pairing, and portion size can dramatically improve how the body responds to their powerful compounds. One of the safest and most effective ways to consume blueberries is on their own or between meals. Eating them alone reduces competition with proteins, minerals, and sugars that can bind to or neutralize their antioxidants. This allows polyphenols to pass through the digestive system with minimal interference and increases the likelihood that they will be absorbed and circulated throughout the body. Pairing blueberries with healthy fats is another beneficial strategy. Foods such as nuts, seeds, or a small amount of coconut oil slow digestion just enough to stabilize blood sugar without blocking antioxidant absorption. Healthy fats also support brain function and help reduce inflammation, complementing the protective effects of blueberries rather than competing with them. Portion control is essential for seniors. While blueberries are lower in sugar than many fruits, consuming large amounts can still stress blood sugar regulation in older adults. A modest serving provides sufficient antioxidants without overwhelming digestion or insulin response. Consistency matters more than quantity. Regular, moderate intake delivers better long-term results than occasional large servings. Timing also plays a role. Consuming blueberries earlier in the day allows the body more time to process their sugars and utilize their antioxidants. Morning or early afternoon consumption aligns better with natural insulin sensitivity rhythms. Late-night intake, especially when combined with other foods, may disrupt blood sugar stability and sleep quality. Chewing thoroughly is another often overlooked factor. Proper chewing breaks down the berry skin and releases polyphenols more efficiently. This simple habit improves digestion and reduces the burden on the stomach and intestines, which is particularly important for seniors with reduced digestive capacity. Preparation methods matter as well. Fresh or lightly frozen blueberries retain most of their beneficial compounds. Highly processed forms, such as sweetened dried blueberries or commercial blueberry desserts, often contain added sugars that negate benefits. These products may carry the name but lack the protective properties of whole blueberries. Medication timing should also be considered. Seniors taking prescription drugs should avoid consuming large amounts of blueberries at the same time as medications unless advised otherwise. Separating fruit intake from medication allows the liver to process each more predictably and reduces the risk of interactions. Ultimately, consuming blueberries safely and effectively is about respecting how the aging body processes food. When eaten in appropriate portions, paired wisely, and timed correctly, blueberries remain one of the most protective foods available for seniors. Instead of becoming problematic, they support brain health, cardiovascular function, and cellular protection, reinforcing the idea that nutrition works best when guided by understanding rather than assumption. In conclusion, blueberries are not harmful foods, but they are powerful ones, and power requires understanding. Their benefits depend not only on what they contain, but on how they are consumed, combined, and processed by the aging body. For seniors, digestion, metabolism, and recovery work differently than they once did, making food interactions far more important than most people realize. When blueberries are paired carelessly, their protective compounds can be blocked, altered, or redirected toward managing metabolic stress instead of supporting brain, heart, and cellular health. However, when consumed thoughtfully, on their own, in proper portions, and with compatible foods, they remain one of the most valuable fruits for healthy aging. The key takeaway is awareness, not fear. By understanding food combinations and respecting the body's changing needs, seniors can turn blueberries into a consistent source of protection rather than unintended strain. Smart nutrition is not about eliminating healthy foods, but about using them correctly to support strength, clarity, and vitality at every stage of life.